Okay, so hello. Um, as I already said, I'm taking a little break from Beyond Mortality to try out this thing that I um wanted to try out to learn to use this program that I impulsively downloaded because I felt like it. Um, so I don't know, give me a couple weeks to mess around with this, and then I'm gonna go back to the usual. Um, I don't know exactly um, how to make a video like this. This is not what I usually do, but whatever. We'll figure it out. I'm probably just gonna yap for 20 minutes. Anyway, so for I think about 3 years ago, question mark, I had this idea pop into my head about a visual novel game. Um, I have never programmed anything outside of Scratch in my life, but I tried to work with Rampy. It's a visual novel making engine, and yeah, I tried to see if I could figure that out, and actually surprisingly not that difficult, pretty simple, intuitive, so that's great. Anyway, yeah, enough talking about boring stuff. Here I'm gonna show you what I have so far because I don't know, I wanted to post something. Okay, anyway, test 2 because test 1 has been deleted by me, not on purpose. It's not, didn't. Okay, anyway. Launch project. Yay. Okay, so we have the default starting screen that Rampy gives you. And then yeah, you got options. The font here I made myself because I don't know, I just keep doing that for some reason. Every time I need a font for something, I just make a new one. I don't know, I just know what I want it to look like and then I just do it myself. Anyway, start. Whoa! Okay, I think it starts a little bit abruptly, but that's alright. So, yeah, I would probably want to have it be black a little bit more and then linger on the road a little bit more before anything. But yeah, anyway, sometimes your character's hands will be shown. Excuse my real bad attempt at voice acting. It's not my strong suit, but I will try. Anyway, this background, by the way, with the road took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out. Just saying. Okay, so then you have different options for skin colors for your character. Because I want it to be a little bit customizable. Anyway, the I wanted to move the choice box to the left, but I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, it's supposed to be in the middle automatically, but I wanted to have it on the right, just generally. But so I moved it, but in this one instance, I wanted to be on the left here, and I don't know how to do that because that needs to be done in the script, and I only know how to move the choice box in the GUI. Or wait, was it screens? I don't know, one of those. So yeah. Okay. It is nighttime. You are driving. The road is pretty empty. The rain is heavy. Each raindrop hits the windshield with a loud thud. You're driving a good amount slower than the speed limit. You can never be too careful with weather like this. Every once in a while, a car passes you by. Some of them are driving faster than the speed limit. How stupid of them. It doesn't take a lot to swerve off the road. Why would they unnecessarily risk their lives like this? Do they have somewhere that important to be? Of course they don't. They just want to get home as soon as possible. They all think they're above the rules. But also, partially, you understand. They're probably driving home from work, same as you. They're probably tired, same as you. Who wouldn't want to curl up under the blankets with a warm cup of tea in this weather? Okay, I'm not super happy with this sentence, the last one, but it's fine. You speed up slightly. So if you didn't notice, which I don't blame you, the background here blurs a little bit with motion blur, so that it appears as if you sped up, but I don't think it's super noticeable, which is my bad. The thing is that I would like, preferably it would be that I would have two background images for the road that would be interchanging, so that, you know, it gives an illusion of some kind of movement. And then when it says you speed up, then it gets a little bit motion blurred and it starts exchanging the images more quickly. But that's really hard and I don't feel like it right now, so after all, the road is empty. People drive recklessly even when there are cars around, and they're usually fine. You're now driving at the speed limit. Come to think of it, most of these people drive like this all the time, and they're still alive. If they would have gotten into an accident before, they would probably be more careful in the future, right? So driving recklessly has turned out completely fine for them. I also not super thrilled about this part of the text, but it's fine. You're now driving past the speed limit. Your eyelids are getting heavier, and so is the rain. It is difficult to see. Oh, yep, I didn't draw anything for that yet. You're now driving on a bridge. This is a pretty secluded road. The railing is old and rusty. The cement is cracked. The river below has flooded from the rain. It seems as if the water is touching the bridge. The river is running wildly. You drive over a rather large crack in the road. Your tires slip. Panickedly, you attempt to regain control of your car, swerving left and right. You can hardly see what's happening. You crash into the railing. It gives way and you drive off the bridge. Your car falls into the river and is engulfed by the wild waters. You sink quickly. The water is cold. You try to open the door, but are unable to push against the outside pressure. You're panicking and are desperately trying to think of a way out. But the rational part of you is aware that you are going to die. With the hands here, I forgot that there's supposed to be a text box here, so yeah, ideally they would be somewhere in the center of the screen so that you could see them. You're still holding your breath, but are starting to run out of oxygen. Your car is being wildly pulled by the waters. You slowly lose consciousness. Then you feel a wild shaking. Obviously this would be animated for it to be shaking. For a moment, you don't know which way is up or down anymore. There is no more water. There is no more sound. There is no more temperature. Is this what death feels like? Whoops, haha. You suddenly feel the pull of gravity again, as you are falling towards the ground at alarming speed. You close your eyes and brace for impact. Yet there is none, but you have stopped falling nonetheless. Disoriented and dazed, you crawl out of your car. Your vision is blurry, but you can still make out some of your surroundings. You're lying on cold dirt. The sky is full of stars. In the distance, you can see a building. There is nothing else. You pass out. You wake up. Between pass out and wake up, ideally I would want to hide the text box, but I'm not exactly sure how. The lights are bright. They're that ugly shade of yellow. You're in what seems to be some sort of a lobby. There are a couple sofas, a coffee table, and a reception desk. There are 2 doors, one behind the desk and a double door, which you guess leads to the rest of the building. Okay, so this is a placeholder background, obviously. But yeah, I think the description here sucks. I need to change that because there are actually 2 double doors here. This one, which is visible, which is the exit door, which is not included in the description, and there is one opposite of the exit door, which you can't see. So then, if you read this, you automatically assume that I mean this double door, but this is the exit door. So that's not really great. And also here in the windows, you're supposed to be able to see your car there, somewhere over here. Outside, you can see the same empty scenery. Outside, you can see the same empty scenery. And is that your car? Yeah, so here. This is all too strange, and yet you don't feel afraid or panicked. Just slightly confused. You recognize this is not how you should be feeling. What will you do? Okay, yay, first choice. This choice actually doesn't do anything. It just changes the background, really. And you still have to go through the same thing anyway. So yeah, in this game I actually do want to have a lot of this, because I know that in a lot of visual novels it's the case that you have a mostly predetermined dialogue, and I don't want that. I want the player to be able to feel like they are actually the ones, saying this, like they have at least some sort of level of autonomy, even if it's only the illusion of choice. Where very rarely will I have that the player character start saying something on their own without the player's input. So yeah, not really a choice, but it makes it feel like it's a choice. So we have call out to somebody, explore the building, or go to your car. You exit out the double doors and find yourself in a hallway. There is a staircase, a door to your right, and a door under the stairs. Hello there. Okay, it's Wally. Hello, Wally. I have those question marks here because you still don't know who Wally is. Yay. Also, if you notice the bounce animation here, that's not built in. I had to manually do that. Also, the darkening, that was pretty hard to figure out, but I got it eventually. I was seemingly nowhere. You're jumped by a thing. This is also an illusion of choice. It doesn't do anything. It is startled by your reaction. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I can't really do a convincing stutter. I'm trying. You relax. It seems friendly enough. The creature standing in front of you appears humanoid, but is definitely not human. Ignoring that obvious fact, you notice that it looks unwell. It has tired eyes and looks very frail and thin. It has what appears to be a scar left by a lightning strike across its face. Despite this, it still seems quite energetic. Okay, this part doesn't really make sense either, because it looks very frail and thin. That would go with, despite this, it still seems quite energetic. It having them having a scar doesn't really have to do anything. with them, you know, being energetic despite appearing ill, because what does a scar have to do with any of that? But then again, if I just went, it has tired eyes and looks very frail and thin. Despite this, it seems quite energetic, and then it has what appears to be a scar left by a lightning strike across its face. I feel like that breaks up the description a little bit in a way that's awkward. And so, I don't know, I'm gonna have to rewrite that, but I'm not sure how. It's awkward either way. I don't know what to do with it. It is also dressed quite strangely. It is wearing a lot of protective gear, 2 helmets, which is definitely unnecessary, rubber gloves, steel-toed boots, knee pads, and makeshift padding around its waist. It is breathing from an oxygen tank. This slightly worries you. Why does it need so much protection? Should you have all this too? Is this place dangerous? Where are you, anyway? What is this place? Welcome to Hotel of Nowhere. What do you mean? Well, it's a hotel and we're nowhere, so... Okay, so this choice is the actual first choice that matters, because A, it changes Wally's dialogue. B, this actually impacts your relationship with Wally, because what I also want to have is basically quote-unquote friendship points, at least that's how I've labeled them in the script, where a lot of the choices that you make either increase or lower your friendship points, your score, and depending on that is how the characters will interact with you later. If they will be mean to you or nice to you in the same way that if you're mean or nice to them. Also, I want this to change the choices that you are given, because, you know, insulting the characters, being able to randomly insult the characters when you have been nice to them before, doesn't really make a lot of sense continuity-wise. So you could only have the option to insult them, for example, if you have been mean to them previously. So it's already established that you don't like them. And yeah, also the endings, I imagine there's 4 different endings, and they are also determined partially, or mostly actually, by how you interact with the characters. There would be one ending that is gotten neutrally, one ending that is gotten by being friendly but is a bad ending, one ending that is gotten by being unfriendly and is also a bad ending, and the true ending, the good ending, that is gotten by being friendly. Okay, so asking who are you makes Wally happy, asking what are you makes Wally unhappy, and you lose 3 friendship points with this choice, because Wally doesn't really like being asked that. I mean, it's not your fault, you couldn't have known, but still. Anyhow, I'm Wally. I'll be your server at this hotel. And you see it says Wally there. And now, who am I talking to? I am. And then you get to name yourself. First of all, you get to choose a title. Then you get to put in your first name and then your last name, because some characters call you by your title and last name, and some call you by your first name. So I wanted to have them all as separate variables. Also, by the way, I don't know what this is, but pay attention to this quotation mark here. When I click, it flashes for some reason, and I don't know why it does that. I don't know. I really don't know why. It's probably because the player character has built-in quotation marks. I made it so that it has built-in quotation marks so that I can just put it as the player speaking and I don't have to write the quotation marks myself every time. But I think that this somehow messes with it for some reason. I don't know why. So I think that when I have a choice box, I'm going to have to write the quotation marks manually so that it doesn't do the weird flashing thing for no reason. Anyway, let's go with doctor. Put in your first name. Now you can do different things here. I'm gonna show that later. Anyway, for example, you can have a maximum of 15 characters for the first and for the last name. Hello there, Dr. Louis Vuitton. We haven't had another one of your kind here in a very long time. Mr. Anderson will want to meet you. This one is dependent on if you have been, also how many friendship points you have. Well, it says something different if you have more friendship points. Okay, yeah, that's it. So now I'm gonna go through the different choices. Oh my god, I can notice this all. What will you do? Okay, let's call out to somebody. Hello, is anybody there? And then it's the same. This doesn't change anything. It just leaves the background here. This again doesn't actually do anything. Okay, and then here you can ask, who are you? I'm Wally. I'll be your server at this hotel. Now, who am I talking to? And then you get to name yourself again. So here, you have to choose a title that's... You can't avoid that, but what you can do is you can put in nothing, and then you get this. Fine then, don't tell me. I'll just call you Dr. Person last name. That's the default that you get. Is that okay for you? And then you get, no, I'll tell you my name, or yes, that's fine. You can just say, yes, that's fine, and then you're remembered as title, person, last name. But you can say, no, I'll tell you my name. Then you can either put in your name, or you can say no again, and then never mind, Dr. Person, last name it is. And with this, you also lose friendship points because you're being mean. And because you asked before, who are you instead of what are you, you get a different answer here. We haven't had another one of your kind here in a very long time. I'm sure Mr. Anderson will be thrilled to meet you. And that's it. There is also... we haven't done go to your car. So you get the double doors, there's a car. You approach the exit door. And then it's the same. There's nothing left to show here. Yeah. So that's it basically. Yeah, this all took so long. Like, I mean, I know making video games is hard and time consuming, but like, jeez, this is not even this is so little. I drew the text box manually myself. I did the font myself. I had to put everything where I wanted it, which took a while because the name is usually supposed to be in the upper left corner of the text box, but I wanted it in the lower left corner and then to have the text here because I thought that looked better. So that took a while to figure out. I also drew the choice box myself and the hover for the choice box. And yeah, and to just to place everything where I want to have it, it was so annoying. Yeah. By the way, fun fact: it isn't a hotel, and Wally is just kind of delusional. So, um, yeah. About the plot of the game, it's you the player character and a can I not just record something for a minute without there being noises? Okay, so as far as the plot of the game goes, the you the player character ends up here, um, which is kind of like a space between dimensions that opened a while ago. It doesn't matter when because time doesn't really work linearly here. Everything is kind of in a stasis here. You can stay here for hundreds of years and you would never age. So, and time outside. So basically, things also come here from different times. It doesn't matter. Like, for example, if somebody from the 1800s ends up here and is here for 2 minutes, and somebody from 2026 also ends up here, it doesn't matter how much time has passed because the time and space are kind of distorted here. So, yeah. So basically, lots of creatures. Okay, not lots of, but a couple creatures from different dimensions are here, and you basically interact with them and talk to them and live here. And also, you, the player character, has the unique opportunity to actually potentially leave and go back home. So you also try to figure out how to do that. And yeah, you basically, it's also kind of a puzzle game in a way where you have to figure out what you're supposed to do. And yeah. There's also, so you don't just, it's not, the game is not linear. You kind of have to walk around the place to find what you're supposed to do, who you're supposed to talk to, and there's also supposed to be an inventory where you're able to take things and then use those things. I don't have this yet, but there's supposed to be a choice menu for where you can go. So, for example, well, I don't have it, but hold on, actually I do have it. But I don't have it in game. I have so I made a like quote unquote save file where I can just put all the stuff in the script that I don't need yet. So for example here, location choice, this is how it's supposed to look. So the narrator asks whether you want to go, and then you get choices for lobby, ground floor, hall, first floor, second floor. And then if you choose this, then it jumps you to, that location. I don't have that yet, obviously. And for example, if you are in the lobby, then you get these choices. You can also, this is like the main locations that you have, but you also have some other ones. So if you're in the lobby, you can go to the desk, go outside, or go to the greenhouse, for example. Yeah, and if you choose stay here, then it just jumps you back here, and then this is a loop practically. If you're in the ground floor hall, you can go to the kitchen, inspect the pantry. There's also supposed to be go to the living room, but I don't have that yet. So yeah, this is how the choice menus are for the locations are supposed to work, basically. Oh yeah, that's not supposed to be here. Hold on. And yeah, and so technically I could have this as like a permanent thing where anytime you need to choose a location to go to, you would um just be jumped here to the part of the game that's the part of the script that's the choice menu. But I think that that would be way too complicated and difficult, because then you would have to have so many variables for, okay, if this already happened, then you get jumped here and this and this and that. So it's probably just easier to just like do it like linearly. You get the options. Yeah. So that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna repeat the menu in the script instead of having it as a one-time thing. I probably nobody probably has any idea what I'm talking about, but it makes sense in my head. I had the script for the game, by the way, if anybody cares. um, yeah, you can pause if you want to look at it. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I also have another block of script left, but you don't need to look at that because that's from the previous try, from the previous attempt. Yeah, that's everything. I think. I mean, I'm never gonna finish this, obviously, but I actually really like the idea, and I think this could be a really, really good game if I ever decided to, make it. Because I mean, I've got an interesting story. I've got, I don't know, I've got an interesting story. I've got good characters. I think Wally is a really interesting character, and the relationship between Wally and Mr. Anderson, who is practically Wally's dad, by the way, is compelling and stuff. I think that visually, I also have it pretty figured out. Like it would have a certain vibe that I think would be pretty nice. And yeah, I think the gameplay would also be interesting because it's not, just read this, say that, then you get this, read it. But, there's also like you gotta do stuff. And I think that's also, I think it could be really good. But, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I gotta lose interest in this in about a week or two. So, yeah. That's it, pretty much. I really don't know if I have anything else to say. I'm probably gonna show some more like character designs and stuff on community posts, and yeah, maybe when I get a little bit further, I'm gonna show it again, and then I'm gonna forget about it. So that's it. That's everything. Thank you